felt it. I heard it. It's on the TV. It's on the news. It's on the radio. It's all over. I saw it, Diva. I saw it. I know it exists. Racism is real. What you talking about? It's real. I'm telling you. All right. All right. I heard you. I know. I understand. You felt it. You've seen it. But what is really happening? We're going to get into this thing about racism and what's really going on. I don't know what's going on with my music, but we're ready to get into this thing about racism. Where is my music? Where is my music? Oh, so you're just going to do me like that. All right, let's try it again. We're going to get into this. UNA University for me. Yes, yes, yes. UNA. UNA. Yeah. All right, let's do this thing. I can't believe my music just conked out like that. All right, so listen. We're getting into today racism. Is it real? Is it real? All right. I want to go through some things today because, you know, we have really had a mind game played on us. All right. Those of y'all who are really understanding this game, you know that the television and the radio and the media and all of these things have been used to program us. And I am right now just logging what the spirits tell me to put out, what they send to me. So I'm going to go through what my research has shown. All right. And then if you have something that's different, please, let's see it. But if you're coming to me with your feelings and your emotions and you're all upset and you're angry, but you haven't done any research, then you don't have anything to talk about. All you're doing is just dealing with your feelings and how you're stuck in them. What we're going to do is deal with universal laws today. And we're going to deal with some factual things about how we can see these laws take effect. Now, again, when I come to you, I am coming to you from the standpoint of what my research is showing, not just with what I have read, but what I've experienced from myself. Now, especially when we're talking about the universal laws and really all of these laws, when you know there's truth, when you can apply a particular principle across many different disciplines. All right, when you can take a principle and apply it to many different disciplines and it holds true, then there's fact in that principle. I'm going to give you one of the main ones, and that is whatever energy you put out must come back. All right, so when you apply this, there's no one in this room or who's watching this who hasn't seen this. We thought it might be a happenstance, but nothing is happenstance. That's another universal principle. But we have seen it where we've given something good to someone and it has come back. We've seen that. That is a universal law or principle whereby whatever energy you put out must come back. Now, can I take that principle and apply it to other disciplines? Now, if I go on the molecular side and I start talking about the mitochondria, which is an entity that I'm going to introduce to you, as a matter of fact, in a couple of weeks, where I do a session dealing with who are the ancestors, who are the real ancestors. Well, we're going way back. Okay, I can apply this same principle on a molecular level, as I said, getting back to the mitochondria, and now you can see how the mitochondria has put out some energies that she has had returned to her. It doesn't matter what level, that is a microscopic level, where you can see that these energies that have been put out, they have to return. We can see it on a social level. And I'm going to go through some of those tonight where we can understand these principles are very real. Now, I want to get into how people are walking around calling themselves gods, but you're not understanding what a god is. Now, what is a god? That is an entity that uses its energies to manifest in its dimension. Well, the problem is we don't realize we're gods, and we don't realize that we're putting out energies, and those energies must return. Now, also keeping in mind that as gods, we are spiritual entities that have been here from time beyond time. We've been here and we continue to return. So what we have are what are known as Akashic records, meaning there is a record of your energies that are being kept. You don't put out an energy in the past and it not return to you. Okay, again, whatever you put out must come back. So when you're talking about beings or people in this dimension that do things and you think they got away with it because they died and they didn't go to prison, they never get away with it. Now, I've gone through that before. I won't go through that here because I need to get on some other things so that we recognize what's really going on with racism. You can't talk about racism and not understand history and truly be an understanding of what you're dealing with. All right? Our minds have been played games on. They have been washed. We have been tricked. Not only with respect to what we're seeing in the media, what we think we're seeing, but with respect to the fact that we've been lied about who's who. You got to understand who's who. You think skin color, just like you think everybody who's dark skinned, they the same people. You think everybody who's light skinned, they're the same people. Well, we're going to go through who's who today, at least from what my research shows. And then again, if you have something different, don't come at me with your negative energy or your anger or your upset when you haven't done any studies. If you've got something different to show, where you have studied and you can show proof of it, please bring it and let's deal with it. Let's talk about it, because all I want to do is get rid of these holes that are in our history. Let's get through them. Let's fill in these puzzle pieces so we can understand what's really going on. Okay, and you can't do it if all you're seeing is this level here and you're not recognizing that there are energies that we all have to deal with. Okay, so now in understanding that, when you hear people talk about, our ancestors put a curse on us for 400 years. Once again, knowing that 400 years thing is not factual. All right. But when there's this thought that we've been in slavery for 400 years, and then you're being told, it's from our ancestors because we were cursed and what have you. There are curses, but we do it to ourselves. We do it to ourselves as spiritual gods. Now, let's understand this. All right, because I want to get into this on this level of what's going on today. Everybody and their cousin, mama, uncle, grandmama, daddy, sister, cousin, brother want to claim to be an Indian or an Aboriginal or a native to the Americas. And let's look at true history. Now, again, I'm giving you what the facts are. If your facts are different, then I want you to bring them to me. So what I'm going to do is go through some factual history, and then we're going to see how that ties in with universal laws. All right, y'all stay tuned and pay attention, because this is the real money. We're going to tie in some factual history. And then let's see how that compares to universal laws, because once again, if I can take this principle and apply it here at this level, and the principle we're dealing with is whatever energy you put out must come back. If I can apply it here, which I can apply it in my own life, you can apply it in your life. We can apply it on a molecular level. We can apply it in what we're talking about, what we call it, policies between this nation and that nation. All right? If this gang over here does harm to a member of this gang over here, then this gang over here gonna come back with some negative energy. That's how that works. So we just applying this one little principle. Now we're going to apply it to history and see if it applies. So let's get into this, because we're going to find out how there's a difference between your dark-skinned people, and we're going to find out how there's a difference between your light-skinned people. We're going to tell who's who. All right. Now, we want to talk about this. Again, everybody want to claim to be Indian. Okay. What happened to the Moors? What happened to those original dark-skinned people coming from another land that we know as Morocco, Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, Britain? Those were dark-skinned people. Even when you talk about an Englishman, that was dark-skinned folks. They had melanin in them. What happened to them? These people, these dark-skinned people that came from another land calling themselves Moors, that came into the land of the Americas and enslaved the original people of the land. What in the ham sandwich happened to them? Where they at? They was dark-skinned too. So now you got people who are claiming, oh, I'm a Cherokee and whatever else they want to claim to be. A Washita. You want to claim to be these things, but what happened to the people who enslaved the original people? Because they too were dark-skinned. Now, we need to go into this term European. Where's my pen so I can make sure I write my notes? Let's go into this term European. And I want y'all to be, again, if you got some history or historical documentation or information to share it. Bring it forth. If what I'm saying goes counter to what you have learned, bring it forth. Let's talk about it. And anybody who's in these comment section, if you want to comment or be brought on, let's talk about it. Let's do it. I got time today. We're going to do this. So now, we're going to go through the term European and what it means and who were the original Europeans and who are the modern Europeans today. Who they are. All right. Now, the original Europeans were dark-skinned people. So once again, Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, Morocco, Britain, and any of those other countries over there where there were people who sailed. The original Europeans were dark-skinned people. And so now, some kind of way, and listen, I'm going to go into some stuff that I've shared every now and then, but I really haven't hit on it hard. But I'm going to go into it. We're going to tie it in today. Because I like to really have backing on the things that I speak. Because I don't want to be saying something to you all that I haven't vetted. But I'm going to tell you what my research shows. If you've got something different, I want to see it. I want to hear it. Don't come to me with your emotions or your thoughts. You first thing, oh, I believe, and I don't care about what you believe. We're not talking about beliefs. Beliefs are for children. We're talking about what do the facts show so we can get to the truth. All right. So you got these Europeans, original Europeans who were dark-skinned that came into this land and enslaved the original dark-skinned people of the land. Now, we all recognize that these Moors, whoever they were, slept with everything moving. Everything moving. And this includes the Albion. This includes the original people. They people. Hell, some of them weren't even people. They slept with everything moving. Okay. So there's a mix here. And so when people get to talking about we this and we that and I am and my people, who is your people? Because the truth be told, we mix with some of everything. If you ain't like the Jews and sleep with your own people, you mix with some of everything. Some of us got Albion, great-granddaddy, because grandmama only wanted to date light-skinned men because he had pretty hair. She wanted to have pretty babies. Some of us got these people from another land who came over and was enslaving the original people. Some of us got true, quote-unquote, African. So you mix with everything. But the thing is, all of those spiritual entities that are mixed within you, they're going to act the way they acted back then. Whatever is in your spirit, that's how you're going to act the way you acted back then. And then what you're going to receive right now is the things you put out as your ancestor. That's what we're not getting. So we got to get into it. Well, Diva, what does this got to do with racism? Pay attention. Pay attention, because we're ready to get into it. And I know some of y'all be upset with me because what she talking about, racism do exist. I know it. I seen it. I experienced it because I see it on the TV, on the news, it's on the radio, it's on the internet. I saw it. And I experienced it myself. Okay. Pay attention, because we're going to apply this principle that people do not recognize. All right. So here we got a dark-skinned people coming in and enslaving the original people of the land. All right. Now, who's who today? Who's who today? Because we want to get upset about the original people being enslaved by Moors, but we're not recognizing, well, some of that's in our blood too. Some of that is in our blood too. So now that we have an understanding of the fact that some of us are mixed with everything, and the fact that, we as our ancestors, we coming back in here as original people and Moors and Albion. Well, we don't want to admit that, but yeah, they in your blood, because the Moors had concubines, and those was Albion women and then they started training those offspring to take over government. They started training them. Okay, so now I need to bring up some things about who these Albions are. According to my research, so y'all got to understand there's a difference between your Albion and your so-called modern European. They're not the same. There's a difference between your Albion and your modern European. They're not the same. So I'm going to give you my research, and if you got some research that says something different, I want to hear it. Your research only. I don't care about your beliefs. They mean nothing. My beliefs don't mean nothing. I'm just giving you what my research shows. All right. So when we're talking about the Albion, according to my research, they supposedly come from a grafting process, which started in what we know of as Argentina. Argentina supposedly was the area where this grafting process started, whereby they purposely, so if anybody tells you that light skin is something that's natural or just came about because there was no sunlight, they're telling you some BS. If anybody tells you that light skin comes about because of something natural, they're telling you some BS. All right. Now, there was a grafting process done. Now, I told y'all about what we call, quote unquote, elite Moors. Why do I call them elite Moors? They truly were elite because they had a knowledge. Just like they call these people the elite that's running things today. They call them the elite because it's that knowledge that they have of how to manipulate this game, that knowledge that we have lost, we have forgotten about, we don't know about, that can tell you how to rewrite your DNA, that tell you how to get out of this dimension, that tell you how to manifest any and everything that you desire. We have forgotten that knowledge, but these quote unquote elite, they have remembered it. Now, these elite Moors were in this place known as Argentina, which is in South America today. According to my research, they purposely suppressed the melanin or the carbon in the gene to create a lighter being. Now, according to my research, and I'm talking about from a spiritual perspective, there were gods that forbade this practice. Now, y'all can take this how you want it, Whether you believe it or not believe it, that's up to you. If you don't have if you have anything to counter it, please bring it to me. But according to my research, there were gods that had forbade them to do this practice. When you take out melanin, because there's a something in the melanin and the carbon of the skin that gives a power to do certain things that without it you can't do. One of them being going into other dimensions. That's what the melanin gives you the ability to do. Without that, you become trapped. Without that, even if you're not in your right mind, you become trapped. So you have to be in your right mind, first of all. And then if you don't have the melanin, you become trapped. So some of us are trapped. We got the melanin, but we don't have the right mind or the elite knowledge in order to be able to untrap ourselves. Okay, so let's understand that. So these beings or these elite people, I'm going to call them elite Moors because they were dark-skinned people. They were dark-skinned people doing this. They purposely tampered with the cell in the vessel to graft these beings into becoming a lighter skinned being, taking away their melanin and their carbon. When you do that, you are taking away their contract, their inheritance. When you do that, you've taken away their inheritance. So here's a being that took away the inheritance of another being who are albions. They are grafted from your melanated people. Your albions are grafted from your melanated people. Somebody took away their inheritance. Meaning they locked them in to be in whatever this dimension is that we're in, to where they are to some degree, whatever degree, trapped in this dimension. So you hear about people, they talk about, oh, these people are trapped, and the people who doing this, they trapped in this dimension. They got to trap us in their dimension. All right. That's an energy, whoever did that. Those so-called Moors who were dark-skinned, that's an energy that they did that. They took away somebody's inheritance and trapped them in whatever dimension. Now, let's understand who these Moors are today, because they didn't disappear. You know, they don't just disappear. No, they're still here. And I'm going to tell you how you can see them. Again, I say to you that light skin comes about by way of a purpose genetic manipulation. That's a GMO. That's what they call it, recessive gene. Somebody went in on purpose, tampered with the gene, removed an inheritance from these people. And that's an energy. All right. Whoever did it, that energy has got to return. Now, I need y'all to check something out now. In the Bible. Oh, Lord, they were talking about the Bible now. See, the Bible ain't even real. This Bible there, that's just an allegory. I'm going to tell y'all something right now, as I've said before. Yeah, there are lies in the Bible. But all lies are based on a truth. All lies are based on a truth. So I'm going to encourage you to read whatever you think is a lie, and then go do some research on that lie and find the truth. So go and look up Numbers in the Bible. Just read that whole book of Numbers in the Bible. And it tells you what white skin is. White skin is a curse. Now, I need y'all to understand something. Leprosy was that curse that was put on a group of dark-skinned people in the Bible. Leprosy. Leprosy is where your skin turns white. Now, according to my research, these beings that did this forbidden thing of taking away the inheritance of this group of people, That was an energy that had to be returned to them, whereby they too would be trapped. They took away the inheritance and the melanin and the color of a people's skin by genetically modifying them and tampering with their skin color. These are the albions that we know y'all call so-called white people. They ain't white. They're albions. Where somebody tampered with their genes. They are grafted. There's another group of people, because the ones who lost their skin color because they were cursed for doing this deed with leprosy, well, those were your dark-skinned people who turned white because they were cursed. Diva, ain't no leprosy today. What you talking about? Ain't no curse. Ain't no what you talking about? Let me tell y'all something. Leprosy is very much alive and well and kicking today. Leprosy is very much alive and well and kicking today, and it comes in the form of what you call vitiligo. Now, I'm not trying to diss nobody. I know y'all have some people in your family with vitiligo. But what vitiligo is, it is an infectious ailment, if you will. It's very much infectious. And what does it tell you when you see someone who has vitiligo? Well, it tells you who they were sleeping with. Oh, come on now, Diva. You're, because that's a lot of people. I know such and such. He had it. Yeah, Michael Jackson. How many other celebrities you know with it? What it's doing, it's telling you who they were sleeping with. They were sleeping with a leper. I'm putting it out there. I'm telling you what's going on with this whole skin issue and this whole curse. They got it from a leper. Who were the lepers? These people who were, they had been cursed because of the deeds that they had done. Well, now they got to hide. And who do they hide behind? Well, they hide behind the albions, the ones that they created, who they took away their skin color from. They hide behind them. So when you're talking about the modern European, they're not the same as the Albion. Because y'all, see, this is what I mean when I say we're not paying attention, because we're so stuck in our emotions and we want to go off on the Albion. I ain't saying they all innocent. They're not innocent. What I am saying is that they're being used and played just like you are. They're not innocent. They're being used and played just like you are. So let's understand this. Y'all notice how there's a certain group of people and they stick with their own group of people. They're not about mixing up their DNA with anybody else. And when we're talking about the so-called modern European, and we're talking about the elite, we're talking about a group of people who at one time, they used to be dark-skinned. They used to be dark-skinned. Originally, your Jews were dark-skinned. Originally, your original Europeans, they were dark-skinned. Well, what happened to them? Those are your so-called modern Europeans today. When you look at who's really running this whole game, it ain't the Albion. The Albion does not control nothing. These grafted people, they not controlling nothing. Who owns all of the basketball teams, baseball, football, hockey? All that's owned by your modern Europeans. All of your television networks, all of your major news networks, all of your major magazines, your major print companies, your major book publishing companies. Y'all just look it up. Those are your modern Europeans. They look light-skinned, but they're not the same as your modern Albion, your regular Albion. And they don't give no more of a damn about this Albion than they do you as a melanated person. They will take both of y'all out. But what they know how to do, because they understand this game, they have elite knowledge. They know better than to step in and get themselves into a mess with you. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to get the Albion to slap you in your face. And then now you fighting with the Albion. You ain't never looked up to find out who the one is really causing the mess. You so mad at the Albion, you haven't looked to see who's really pulling the puppet strings. Who is that? Who is that? Getting back to history, because some of y'all are not paying attention to history. We know that the Moors kidnapped the Albions. So remember, the Albions were created by these dark-skinned people in what we know as the South America, Argentina. And because of the typography or the heat in that land, they couldn't take it. The Albion couldn't. So they moved them to a cooler climate, a colder place. Some of y'all know Caucasus Mountains and whatever, because that suited their skin better. All right? And they began to multiply. Well, then, and again, I'm going on my history and my research. If your research shows something different, show me. I don't want to hear about your beliefs. I need to keep saying that, because don't tell me about that. I only want to know about what your history and your research shows. They take these people over to another land. And as they multiplied, Moors of Maracas, Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, and what we know of as Britain, they started kidnapping these people from Ireland and Sicily and either other Europeans over. They started kidnapping them and bringing them as slaves, not only into Morocco, but into the Americas. This is after the 1700s. Now, what I'm saying that we don't pay attention to is we're knowing history, we're learning, we're awakening to what's going on with respect to the lies that were told in history. Now, I need y'all to think about this. Think. Because everybody wants to say, oh, the white man trying to kill us. Not recognizing that there's a difference between your quote-unquote Albion and your quote-unquote modern European. They're not the same people. And one of them is hiding. One of them is hiding. And the modern European is not the only one hiding. All right. So they kidnap these people from these lands, bring them into the Americas. These are your Moroccans and Moors and all this other stuff. Britain and Tunis and Algiers. They bring them into the land, and then they enslave them. They not only enslave the Albion in the land, they also enslave the original people of the land. Now, if the Albion is coming over as slaves and state slaves from the 1700s all the way up to the mid 1800s and so on, and we know that there was a period of reconstruction whereby the history was being rewritten, somebody needs to help me understand how an Albion as a slave could be talking about or thinking about rewriting somebody's history. That is an elite knowledge. That's an elite knowledge. You don't just jump up like, I'm going to rewrite the history of the people. When you came over here as a damn slave, somebody make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me. It wasn't the Albion that was rewriting history. It's just so-called modern European. They're not the same people. Oh, it might be, they light-skinned diva. Okay, as I said to you, a bird and a bat, they both got wings. One of them is a mammal. One of them's not. Two totally different beings. And I'm saying to you that because we're not recognizing this difference, we're not recognizing history. First of all, I'm just pointing out to you the difference. Then I'm going to get into the universal law side of this game, so we can understand what's really going on. So once we understand history, again, these Albions come in as slaves. We know that. How in the ham sandwich you gonna tell me that they was the one rewriting the history? No, it was not them. That was another being doing that. How they gonna be slaves and then also be up here rewriting something? It doesn't work like that. So an understanding that we got to start making, if it doesn't make sense, you need to keep asking questions. Y'all just want to be stuck on, oh, we pissed off, we're ready to beat down the Albion. No, you got to come off of that, because the ones who are up here manipulating the game, they know as long as they keep you pissed off, you are out of your damn mind and you're going to stay stuck. As long as I can keep you pissed off, you cannot vibrate at the right frequency to actually motor to any place else, because you're not in your right damn mind. We're ready to get into this racism, because we're going to understand what's really going on. I said the elite Moors grafted the Albion from melanated people, knowing that it would keep the Albion from transcending. Without that melanin, they don't get to transcend like someone with melanin or carbon would. They knew that. Now, when they did that, again, that energy had to come back on them. They lost their melanin. That's how that game works. And so I go back to Argentina. See, everything is an energy. All right? Everything is an energy. Argentina was run by melanated folks. Argentina doesn't hide the history of what happened in their country. They don't hide it at all. They'll tell you this used to be populated by melanated folks. They show it in their museums. They show it in their legal documentation. They even have Moorish stuff still in the seal of their flags and their government. They don't hide it. So why is it that Argentina has a population, and how do I know this? I live there. I live there. They have a population where the melanated people make up less than 1%. I said less than 1%. You can take all the Africans, you can take all the Cubans and the people from Brazil and the people from North America and put them all together. They still make up less than 1% of the people living in Argentina today. That's because there's an energy there. That land has an energy that was returned to it. Where the melanated folks, they had to leave. And they'll tell you how the government came in and took over. This was in the mid-1800s, just like the same thing happened here, where the Moors were kicked out in the mid-1800s. And so they come in and they talk about how the melanated people were sent off to war. They purposely sent them off to kill them. They told them, you either go to war or you're going to die. And so they went to war and they got killed. They talk about that. This is in the Argentine history. And so why is it that this land is 99% populated by light-skinned people? Knowing that this is where the light-skinned people were created. That's not happenstance. That's not happenstance. There's an energy in that land. So, as I said, you've got these people who are cursed with leprosy. They are what I would say an elite people because they have an elite knowledge. And this is after they had created what we know as Albions today. Look up leprosy, Book of Numbers, read it. So you can see what leprosy is. It is very much alive today in the form of vitiligo. That is leprosy. And it is very contagious. That's why they got kicked out of the place. So anybody who you see with that vitiligo, you know who they've been sleeping with. And when you want to know who the lepers are, yeah, they've been sleeping with a leper. Now, and you're going to see this when, when you're dealing with people, just, again, they're not going to tell you that. They're like, nah, I ain't. That's not what their skin is telling you. See, y'all got to understand everything is a contract. And when you know certain things, people can tell you stuff out their face all day, but they can't lie. They can try to lie, but their skin won't lie. Their vessel doesn't lie. The energies coming to their vessels don't lie. So I want to get back to this when I say, where are the people who kidnapped the Albion? Where are the people who enslaved the original people? They still here, parading as the original people of the land. They're still here. You want to know how to find them? Look at the energy that's coming to them. Look at the energy that's coming to them. You want to know who enslaved people? Go to your prison industrial complex. Now we're ready to get into the universal law side of this game. Nothing is happenstance. Nothing. If you're getting an energy that's coming on you, it's because you put it out at some point in time. And why am I bringing this up? Because y'all got to recognize who you are as a God. And if you're serious about going to the next level, you got to come out of this idea that, oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. You can't be a God and a victim. The white man trying to kill us. The white man y'all got to start recognizing this game. Albion is a puppet. Somebody's up here manipulating them like they manipulating you. They just need this one to go over here and slap you to keep you out of your right mind so that you can never transcend and get up out of this joint. But you can't see it if you're too angry. All right. So, getting back into this thing. Prison industrial complex. Why is it that all of our black men is being done like this and all of our black men is being done like that? And United States of America, or North America, has the highest incarcerating rate than anybody on this planet. No other country has an incarceration rate higher than that of the United States. I'm just going to say the United States because y'all know there's a difference. But why is it that in this land of the Americas that the incarceration, that's not happenstance. That's not happenstance. You want to know who those people were enslaving the Albion? Look at the energies that are coming upon people today. Well, my son ain't never put nobody in prison. Well, not in this lifetime. But the energies that are coming upon him today are reflective of the energies he put out at another time. All you see is, the white man picking on my son and the white man picking on my son and this and that and the white man and... That's an energy that's being returned to this God that came back into this dimension as your son. I know you don't get it. This is harsh. I get it. If you want to clean up the energy, you can. That's why there are all these prayers about forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Why? Because as gods, we in debt. That's why we in this dimension. If you want to clean up the debt, you better recognize who you are. And that you have energies that need to be cleaned up. All of us do. And so if you're continuing to I'm going to blame the Albion, and I'm not saying it's easy to come out of this mindset, but the more you stay in it, the more you stay in a lower vibratory frequency. Again, I say to you, your melanin is an inheritance. Your melanin is an inheritance. It gives you the ability to transcend things that those without it cannot transcend. That's not to say that your albion is not good people. That's not to say that. I'm not even saying the modern European is not good people. Two different beings. I'm not saying anything about them. What I am saying to you is you have melanin that gives you the ability to transcend. But will you transcend is based on your mind. Your mind and your vibratory frequency. You can't do it with hate. You can't do it with anger. You can't do it with maliciousness. If you still think you're a victim, you need to stay right where you are. Because you're going to get yourself in a world of trouble. How does universal law play into this? There were a people who enslaved the albion. Albions are just returning energy. That's all they doing. See, I told y'all, when you on top, how you treat the people who are supposedly on the quote-unquote bottom, that's got to return to you. Did you show them love and kindness and peace when they were down there in need? Then that's what they're going to return to you when they get into the position. And that is what's happened. When our ancestors, quote-unquote us, when we were on top, there was kidnapping going on. There was enslavement going on. There was disrespect and discombobulation going on that was being dished out. There were people who were taking away people's ability to transcend and trying to entrap them. That was going on. That energy has to be returned. And that's what you're seeing right now. There is a shift. That's what this cosmic shift is. And there are a people who were hiding. Dark skin and light skin. If you want to know who's who, especially when we're talking about somebody doing kidnapping and raping and pillaging, yeah, all of that, you want to see who it is, that energy's got to come back. You can find them today. Go to the prison industrial complex. That's not happenstance. I know this is harsh. I'm telling you the facts because everybody claiming to be, oh, all the black people is Indians. We the Indians. Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn minute. What happened to them people who came over here who was dark skinned that actually enslaved the original people? What happened to them? You can find them. I'm going to go into some more history. And I want to deal with some things that everybody's talking about, you know, when they want to claim how the Albion or the Europeans, not knowing, just mixing them all up with these Europeans, they want to claim that they did all of these deeds. And so that's why I want y'all to be aware when you hear people using the term European, please be aware of the fact that the original Europeans were dark skinned. When they say, oh, these Europeans came over here and enslaved the yeah, but those were dark skinned people who did that. Those weren't the Albions that we know of today. That wasn't them. All right. I brought clarity to you about the difference between the Albion and the modern European. And the fact that they couldn't have been the ones, the Albions could not have been the ones who rewrote history. They were slaves at the time. There was an elite group of people rewriting history. I say elite because they had the knowledge that, oh, when I rewrite history, I can enslave people. When I change your history up and I switch it around, then I can enslave you with that history, which is exactly what they have done. And again, I go back to saying, when you put an energy out, it must return. And I talked about how this group of elite Moors, they took away the melanin from a group of people. They took it away, which meant they broke a contract. They took away the inheritance. The melanin and the carbon is an inheritance. They trapped the people here. I want to talk about this because I'm getting back into universal law and how it plays a role. I need y'all to listen to this. When you put out an energy, the energy must come back. And a lot of us have been told that the Albion created things that they didn't create. The Albion didn't create these things. For example, the Bible. They don't come from the Albion. Hell, even King James was dark skinned. That was a melanated person. That's dark skinned. This was in the 1600s. The King James Bible, that came from a melanated dude. The Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, those were melanated folks. All religions come from the melanated male. All religions. All major religions, with the exception of Scientology. All major religions, they come from melanated folks. They didn't create the Constitution. That came from melanated folks. Your original Europeans, those are dark folks. And they got that Constitution. It was written off the back of the Iroquois Confederacy, which was also written by another group of dark-skinned people of the Americas. So I got to know that history. All right. Another thing that we've been made to think is that the Albion created the language. That's not true. The English language that all y'all try to diss and call, oh, that's the language of Babel. No. That was created by melanated folks. Elite beings. I want y'all to do some homework now. Look up the Phoenicians. Phoenicians. Y'all should hear that term, that prefix in there. Phoenicians, as in phonetic. These were people who were wordsmiths. They were elite. They had the knowledge about language. Phoenicians. They were sailors. They lived along the sea. They were Moors. Dark-skinned folks. Worked on the ship. Moors don't have nothing to do with skin color. It has to do with people who worked on ships. Or who sailed all the time. They were Moors. These Phoenicians, they were dark-skinned people. Know where they came from? Your Israelite tribes over there in what we call the Middle East. Over there. And your Jews. They were known for doing negative things against the people with words and contract. They were black business practice people. What I mean black business? Black as in negative. Meaning they would do things in business and make contracts with people where they would enslave you, which is exactly what the United States does all the time. Creates contracts like mortgages. As in death. They create contracts whereby you would be enslaved by the very contract because you don't know words. Well, that's what they did with the English language. And let's talk about why these Phoenicians created the English language. It was purposely created for the purpose of discombobulating people spiritually. They created it for the Albion. Listen to me, because I'm telling you about how universal laws work. They created this English language for the purposeful reason of discombobulating people spiritually, and their purpose was to give it to the Albion to keep them off balance spiritually. Now, who are the people that are enslaved by this language today? Yeah. Melanated folks. You want to know who were the Phoenicians and who was putting all this energy out? Yeah. They still here. We don't go nowhere. We just come back in different forms. The Phoenicians. Again, your Israelites, your Jews, your Moors, all of them, they were a part of this. When you put the energy out and your intent is to enslave someone, those same energies must come back to you. Now who's being enslaved? This is why you have to be careful about your every word, your every intent. Because it must come back by law. This ain't Diva Laree making this up. This is law. So the fact that you have these people or this language here, and again, this language, the purpose of it, it throws you off balance. Well, what you talking about, divas? It throw me off balance spiritually. All right, those of us who know a little bit about etymology, we know certain words. We know the prefix and the suffix and how to, as a matter of fact, there's so many keys and clues in our language. It's ridiculous. When you start studying etymology, that's a whole nother subject matter and an opening of Pandora's box right there by itself. So let's give you an example. Aboriginal. All right, the term ab means not. So when I say abnormal, that means not normal. So aboriginal means not original. So when you're going around saying, oh, I'm aboriginal, I'm not original, I'm not original, I'm not original, I'm aboriginal. In means not. Intelligence means not intelligent. Means you don't have intelligence. Means you don't speak well. Your words don't comprehend, or people don't comprehend your words well. You have no ability to tell anything. No intelligence. That's what these Phoenicians created with this English language to purposely discombobulate us. Well, so what they words? We can redo them. This is what the Phoenicians knew. The Phoenicians knew that every letter has a vibratory frequency, and when spoken, it creates a spiritual contract. So every letter is a word. Every syllable is a combination of words. So when they create this language with these syllables, and all of them mean not, and you running right here, and every word in your sentence condemns you to be the opposite of what you think you're saying. Yeah, that's what the Phoenicians did. And remember, whenever you create something, whenever you have any kind of creation, whatever your intent is on that creation, you better listen. You know how they tell you, you make a grave, you're going to lie in it. And you better make sure your grave has pillows and all kind of comforts in it, because you're going to be lying in it. Whatever intent you put on up here, you're going to live in it. You cannot escape from it. The universe knows who you are. Those Akashic records are very much real, and they keep a tab of every energy that you've ever put out. So, again, understand universal law. If you put it out, it must come back. And now, when I say this, I'm telling you, I can't hear. There's not one time when I hear somebody telling me about how, oh, the white man did this to the black people, and the white man did this to the black people. Then I go back and I look up these things. I'm going to give you one. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Y'all know it. Oh, Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street. Okay. Did anybody start to do any research on Tulsa, Oklahoma? How it came to be? What happened with it? No. Y'all just want to be angry because y'all want to see the white man as being dirty. They might be. But again, with universal law, you cannot receive an energy that is not meant for you. The only way you get an energy is if you put it out. You cannot receive an energy that's not meant for you. So when I see, okay, these people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they're getting this energy whereby they get bombed and they get all of these other things, the property taken or whatever. Okay. When we go back to the Trail of Tears, and anybody check that out? The Trail of Tears, 1831, whereby Indians, quote unquote Indians, were removed from their land. Oklahoma being one of those states where the Indians were removed from their land. Who removed them? In 1831, these so-called modern European. Back then, they were still melanated. Back then, they still had melanin in their skin in the 1800s because they were running what we know of as the United States of America, but they were running, the United States was coming into play as well. They were British people because the United States of America had been infiltrated by these British people, but they still had melanin. But that Trail of Tears, it wasn't just the British people who was doing that. There were some Moors in there too that facilitated these Indians being moved off of their land. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull up so we can see what areas the Trail of Tears covered. So again, we can understand universal law because we need to get this. I got time today. We're gonna get this for those of y'all who really do want to know, because some people like being angry. That's one of the things I had to learn too as I was attempting to help people and help to give an understanding about certain things. Some people like being angry, and that's okay. I respect that. But that's why I say, if you want to be angry, I'm not talking to you. Don't come at me with your anger. But if you want to know about true history so that you can raise your vibratory frequency, let's talk. Let's have a conversation about it. What did you find? We're going to share that. So I'm going to share this. I'm going to flip my screen. I'm flipping the rig. And we're going to take a look at this. This is the area that the Trail of Tears covered. You see Oklahoma right there. All right. This is all of the areas. So we see Georgia's up in here, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi. All these people were forced to leave their land. All right. Now, I'm going to give let's go on a clearer. Let me see if y'all can see this. I'm gonna try to zoom in. But here you see Tulsa, Oklahoma. Right here. This is where Tulsa was. In this area. And I'm saying this because I'm just showing you that there was a melanated people removed from this land right here. That's Tulsa. That's what they say is Tulsa, Oklahoma. So Trail of Tears happened in 1831 or around 1831. And then we get the Tulsa, Oklahoma riots in 1921. And what I'm saying to you is, who were these people on the land? Who were these people on the land? Were they the original Indians on the land? Or were they relatives of the people who had these Indians moved off the land? Were they relatives of the Moors who had the Indians moved off the land? Who were they? Y'all also didn't do any research to find out who funded that whole Tulsa, Oklahoma project. That was funded by Jews. None about it. Go deep. Nobody can bring an energy to you that you're not supposed to get. That project was funded by your modern European, these elite peoples. They go by the name modern European. There were elite Moors that some kind of way lost their skin color. Your lepers. So I'm saying to you, I get it. What you see on TV and what you see in the news and what you see here. Remember, nobody can bring an energy to you that you're not supposed to receive. And if you're receiving it, then that means you put it out and you got to check yourself. Also, remember, this tell lie vision, it tells lies to your vision. If I can keep making you think it and making you think it and making you think it, then you're going to believe it's real. You're going to believe it's real. If every day I'm putting on TV, oh, well, this happened to this one, and this racism. And you know, it's funny because I will see two different cases where, okay, I'm talking about specific things like the airline, where a pilot can throw somebody off the plane. And I don't know why I've seen a lot of women, melanated women, get thrown off planes where it's like the pilot say, I don't want this. She's not on my flight. All right. Now, in one case, if it's an Albion that does it, oh, it's racism. But then if it's a melanated person, you can't say that same thing. No, he's an asshole. No, wait, maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. Now I get this situation. I see this situation where the woman has this argument with the agent, the ticket agent, getting on a plane. Now the ticket agent is an Albion woman, and then she goes down to the plane, and the pilot is a melanated dude. He's after she get in the argument with the Albion woman agent. She's able to pass for some reason. She gets down to the pilot on the plane who's greeting everyone and gives him attitude. And then he says, she's not on my plane. She's not, yeah, I don't care. Refund her. I don't care what it is. Get her off my plane. But now it's racism. Wait a minute. This guy was melanated. I'm saying to you, we're not recognizing the energies that we're bringing. We're not recognizing it. Every energy you get is because of what you have put out. You created your third dimension. So, but Diva, hold up, Diva. Now, the white man trying to kill us, the white man trying to, because they trying to kill us, because let me tell you about this thing, right? They got this RNA thing that's produced, and they produce this RNA thing in plants. And then it can specifically target the black people. Okay. They trying to kill us. I'm telling you, they trying to specifically target the black people because they trying to kill us. Okay. So let's talk about this. Who funds those type of projects? Because those are science projects. Again, y'all need to look up who's doing this. Where does the money come from? Who funds those projects? Your modern Europeans. It ain't the Albion funding those, because the Albion don't have nothing. They don't own nothing. It's owned, everything is owned by the modern Europeans, the lepers, the ones who look like they're Albion, but are truly cursed people. I'm going to get back to the cursed people, because when I talk about this, most of these people are what you call Jews. Now, this ain't no diss against the Jews. I just tell it like it is. But they'll tell you, well, yeah, you gotta, why are we wearing black all the time? That's why they wear black. Now, I don't think I wear black because of this. But they would say they wore black because they were cursed people. Well, cursed with what? What would they curse with? Leprosy. This is where my research leads me. I'm just giving you what my research shows. What does your research show? What are they cursed with? Leprosy. Look up numbers. Nobody's putting this together in a neat little book for you. You got to do some research. So, getting back to this, who's funding this process whereby these people are targeting melanated people? Your modern Europeans. So when they're funding these, they're trying to get at the melanated people. And when you think about it, and I don't want to say the starch enemy, but the people who have come against melanated folks the most have been your modern Europeans, not your Albions that are getting mixed up and confused with these people. Your modern Europeans, the people who look like they're Albions, but they're really cursed people. Look it up. Those are the ones who fund everything. When you're talking about the NAACP, till this day, it is still owned by the modern European Jews. The same people who funded NAACP will fund the KKK. Same people who fund the KKK, they're going to fund the Black Caucus. They're going to fund the Southern Christian Coalition. And there'll be the same people that fund the Cross Skull and Bones. Your modern Europeans, who are they? And they're really not your enemy. They're really not your enemy. You are, because you are allowing them to manipulate your mind and allowing them to cause you to put out an energy to bring upon yourself. Listen, again, if I can convince you that it's real, then it's real in your dimension, because you're going to create it. If I can convince you that it's real in your dimension, because you are going to create it. We're being manipulated. And I spoke about the television. The live vision. Remember, you have a nation within you that's going to manifest everything that you show it. When I talk about imagination, the image that the nations within are seeing. The image that the nations within you are seeing. And so if you're watching the live vision, it's telling lies to your vision. You're showing them over and over and over and over and over again racism. You're showing them negativity. That's what they are going to manifest for you. Yeah, it's going to be real as hell to you. I saw it, Diva. I saw it in the news, on the radio, on the internet. I saw it. It's real. Yeah, to you, because you manifested it. You let somebody tell lies to your vision, and they have corrupted the image of the nation within you. Somebody is hiding. It's not just the light-skinned people. There's some dark-skinned people hiding too. Who were those people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, on that land in 1921? Find out who the people it was stolen from in 1831. Who were those people? You can't put an energy out without it coming back. So I say to you, it doesn't matter what time frame that I look at. If I'm seeing a people who are supposedly being mistreated or they're downtrodden, when I go back and look in their history, I see dirt. I don't really have to look no more, because I already know how the universe works. But I always like to look so I can come and present this information to y'all people who think that you're a victim. You can't be a god and a victim. Which one are you? I encourage you to turn the damn TV off. I encourage you to stop listening to the radio. Stop allowing these people to tell lies to your vision. If you're seeing things and you're getting energies, know that it is you who's bringing them about. You are the God. You can control it. See, y'all think I'm saying I'm victim blaming. Somebody didn't hear that I just told you got all the power. You got all the power. You. And when you get your vibratory frequency right, you can make your third dimension or fourth dimension, fifth dimension be whatever you want it to be. But as long as you think you're a victim and you holding on to negativity and you are ignorant about history and what really happened, you don't have anything to stand on. You're going to continue to keep coming back in here. Because with your melanin, you have an inheritance to transcend different things when the time comes. With your melanin, you have an inheritance. This is not dissing my light-skinned friends, my Albion friends. There's no diss to you at all. That doesn't mean that, you can't do certain things, but there's a transcending that people with melanin and carbon can. But if you are still not in your right mind, you will stay trapped. You will stay trapped. So I just encourage you all to please, 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 if you have any research or any information that you've done, I want to hear it. I saw some notes here. I'm gonna put my my spectacles on, and I see a whole bunch of. I'm gonna see if I can scroll through this thing. I might need to. 1 second. Let me see if I can pull this up. On my screen, and then I can look at it. I just want to make sure I get all these notes. All right. I see Donnell. Jennifer, thank you for joining us. I truly do not think our ancestors would curse us. It makes no sense. Jennifer says, I truly do not think our ancestors would curse us. It makes no sense. So let me say this, Jennifer, to that point. What is a curse? A curse is basically dealing with a negative energy. I mean, it could be a positive energy too, because everything really is a curse. It's about the energies that are coming back to you. And let's make this clear. Even when you go back and you look in history, when you read scripture and you talk about who the gods were, they were some very ill-mannered people. And I mean ill-mannered. These beings, I say people, they were beings that would, if anything you can think of today, raping, robbing, pillaging, incest, murder, you name it, they did it. And one of the things about those beings is they didn't take into consideration the fact that those energies would follow them. So the same way, and it's not even about your ancestors, it's you. Because we always want to blame things on our ancestors. No, your energies, you as a spiritual being did it. And the problem is we're not willing to recognize the energies that we put out in another time. We just want to be, oh boy. See, I'm going to say this. Whenever I speak on this, I want to speak about it with love and not excitement, because I don't want to. I'm very responsible about how I take full responsibility about how the words that I speak make somebody feel. So this is not my intent to make anybody feel hurt or less than or anything like that. So I need to calm down when I speak this, because I need to say it with sensitivity. All right. when we're even talking about a rape victim, okay? When we're talking about a quote-unquote rape victim, you got to understand that that is an energy. And I know I'm going to upset a lot of people with this, because a lot of women especially don't want to admit their energies. Women will take stuff to their grave, and there are a lot of males. This is what I had in my studies and in my learning these things about brothers and everybody, talking to them. There are a lot of men that are hurting, that have been sexually molested, or had a woman to do things to them that they never talked about, or that they look at it, they'll brag about it, but in the truth they're hurting. That never gets addressed. These things never get addressed. And then a woman goes to her grave with the fact that she did something, or she gets that energy returned to her, and we see her as a victim, when the truth is it's an energy. And so I say to you, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I know energies. And you cannot receive an energy that is not meant for you. So I'm saying that to say to you this: when you say, I don't think our ancestors would curse us, absolutely they did, and you cursed yourself in another time. That's why you're here, because there are lessons that you need to learn. There's energies that have to be returned to you. The universe is just. She's just going to return the energies. That's what I mean right there. That statement right there. Refusing to recognize who you are as a God. That statement right there. When you refuse to recognize that you were here at another time and that you put out energies, then you're going to keep doing, oh, I'm a victim. I know I wouldn't. I can't. I refuse to believe that I would do this. I refuse to believe that I'm the one. Okay, then you keep reliving your whole reality, because you haven't learned your lesson. Come back and try it again. You're not going to get away with nothing. Nothing. People think they're going to, this is what I mean. Listen, there's always a consequence to your thought, your every thought. And people think that they're just going to walk, do whatever they want to do. And, oh, did somebody see me? Did nobody see me? Don't tell nobody. Shh. Sucker, you ain't got to do, I don't have to do nothing to you to make you get repaid for what you did. The universe got you. If you do something kind, don't nobody have to see it. The universe saw it. The universe going to return it to you. The same thing with anything negative that you do. You can't steal something. I've had people, like this one was telling me, you know what, yeah, you right about that, because I remember I stole this ring one time, and next thing you know, my ring got stolen. You steal money from people, that energy is going to show back up. Let me continue with these questions. Let me see if I can get in here as I can pull it up better. Let's see. I'm just answering comments or what have you. Give me a sec. Let me see if I can pull. No, hold on. The fact that she comments or what have you. Give me a sec. Let me see if I can pull. No, hold on. The fact that she comments. I had to close that out. So I'm not able to see it up there. Let me see if I can pull it up down here. Let me see if I can pull it up down here. All right, so that comment right there, not recognizing who we are, is one of the reasons why we continue to recycle. Come back and having to do it again. All right, I'm trying to... see if I can go through this thing lightly. All right, you can, but you can't hide. Yeah, you can put it out there, but you can't hide. Darlene, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Donnell, for that comment. Google and Wikipedia are not good enough. Right, they're not. Jews were so-called black. Yeah, they were dark-skinned, yes. Not black. They were actually, the Jews were white, which white and black have nothing to do with skin color. Hawkeye says the indigenous Wall Street. No idea what he's talking about there. What about abnormal, abused, abhor, etc.? All right. Incredible. I can't see it. This thing. Hold on. Let me see if I can try to pull this up. If I can get in here and see the messages, that would be great. Look up the etymology of the word. Which word? Ab means from, original meaning the beginning. Now, let me say this. Again, I say that this language is purposely created to discombobulate us spiritually. And ab, if you have the word original, why would you need to put ab in front of it? If you have the word original, why would you need to put ab in front of it? I'm gonna, as a matter of fact, let's do a let's do a because one of the things that we don't have, we do not have a good comprehensive we don't have a good comprehensive etymological book that really goes into it. We don't really have that. This Etymon online, I use that a lot, but it's really not that great. It's really not that good of a book. But let me see what, when you say ab, and by the way, another way to prove this is when you got abnormal or abstract. That's telling you not. So those two words right there show you that the prefix ab has to do with not. And so when you put it in front of any word, it means not whatever the word is that's following it. That's etymology. I get that you can go ahead and rewrite things in your own contract. Whenever we sit down and we write our courts of law in law, when we write our courts, we can create a dictionary and we can make a word anything we want it to be. However, what I'm making sure you understand is when you're using these terms, you need to understand where they come from. And so here it's saying entrance, the beginning, which is from or related to the verb hold on for a second. And I'm looking up the etymology of, and actually it's not ab, it's initio. Initio means entrance or beginning, not ab. Ab ovo means from the beginning, or Latin meaning ovum. That's not ab. It's not. This is what I mean about this etymon online. Some things it's good with, some things it's not. It's not telling you what ab means. When you pull up ab, it's going to pull up ab initio, meaning beginning. Ab ovo, meaning ovum. Yeah, the ovum is the beginning. From. It means from in this one. Ab means from is what it's saying in this one. From original. From original. Meaning of original. Means not original. Why do I need to put a prefix in front of it if it's original? This is why People like, well, who's the original people? Look, I don't need to say ab. I'm just going, listen, if you want to use ab, that's fine. I respect that. I respect that. But I'm going to take it off, because if I just use original, you know what the heck I'm talking about. Original people. You know what I'm talking about. So that means we're not going to have any mistakes or any miswordings or misunderstandings about what we're saying when we're talking about these things. Now, I'm trying to see if I can read these comments without so that, because this thing doesn't allow me to see all of the comments. Let me see if I can get in here without. All right, give me 1 minute. I'm gonna turn down my let me see if I can get into here. So that I can see these messages. 1 second. All right, so I just want to make sure I comment. If anybody who has something you want to say, I want to hear it. So I want to make sure I respond to whatever comments you have. Okay, I'm in. Let's see here. Zenobia. Hollywood tried to tell who the real Moors, seafaring people, pirates were in the movie Captain Phillips. Thank you, Cherise. I want to check that out. Like in the movie Shrek, with the contracts they were making. Donnell, tell me about that. What contracts were they making? Shrek was a heavy metaphysic movie. Yeah. Aboriginal means from the beginning. Okay. If you want to use that, that's fine. Hawkeye, if you want to use these terms and you're using them and you're coming up upon the etymology like this, Hawkeye, the least you could do is when you use that term and you create any kind of legal documentations, put a definition of what the word means, so that you're making sure that we're making this clear. Because when you put it in a legal documentation, that really is, again, that's speaking to the cosmos. That's rewriting the DNA. Oh, okay, it don't mean this anymore. It means something different. So make sure you put it in your legal documentation of what it means to you. It could mean something else to somebody else. It doesn't matter. If it's in their documentation in one way, then that's the way their contract is going to be written. The same thing with you. Just make sure if you're going to use it, you redefine it for yourself. All right. Incredible means not credible. Right. I-N means not. All right. So if you say I'm credible, because credible means, I take credit for what I do. Credible or credit means that you can trust what I'm saying. When you put in front of it, it means you can't trust what I'm saying. I'm not credible. And words, yes, Sharice, they very much carry energy, which is why we have to retrain ourselves. And if you're going to use these words, once again, redefine them to make it clear in your contracts about what they mean to you in your world, because your world is all that matters. Your world is all that matters. So rewrite it so that in your world, that's what it means. I'm going to respect it. All right. Look up the etymology of the word. Did that. Nigger means Indian. Okay, there you go. A redefinition. Now, don't call me no nigger, because we're going to be throwing fisticuffs. I'm just letting you know. For me, if you want to take on the term nigger and it means Indian to you, then I respect that. I'm not going to be calling you that. I'm going to find another word to call you that. That is your redefinition of the word, but that's what has been done in music. What's been done in music is they're using that word as though it it's a positive thing. And it's, oh, me and my brother. My, whatever. All right. However you want to use it, that's up to you. Thank you, Sharice, was saying, what about Aboriginal? Indigenous Wall Street. Jews were so-called black. Jews were so-called white, actually. Once again, the term white had nothing to do with skin color. It meant purity of blood. It meant owner of land. It meant royalty. Or free. So status. Pale faces are made in a laboratory. Some of the pale faces are made in the laboratory, and some of them are cursed. Hawkeye. Some of them are cursed. Animal DNA, there's no denying it. Okay, all Albions don't have animal DNA in them. Once again, the real Jews are so-called black. Wrong, Hawkeye. Once again. Google and Wikipedia are not good enough. I agree, Hawkeye. You got to go deeper. Donnell, you can run, but you can't hide. What's not the same, Donnell? Donnell says it's not the same. All right, so good. Thank you all for your input. And once again, Hawkeye, if you want to have a discussion, I'd love to have a discussion with you so we can really go into what your research shows. Thank you for the ab deal. But again, we can show all kind of proof that ab means not. And when you're putting prefixes in front of words, you're changing the entire meaning of the word. All right? So make sure we are recognizing that. And if you're going to keep a word, make sure you redefine it in your legal documentation. That's important because then somebody else can't come up in your world and start telling you what the word means. If you haven't redefined it, then it means the general term of what's been made in this dimension that we're in using this language that we call English. You've got to redefine it for yourself. All right. So with that being said, y'all just keep in mind, when I talk about racism, I know it upsets people when I say it doesn't exist. I saw it. I felt it. It's on the news. It's everywhere. Yeah, somebody has planted those seeds in your mind and you believe it. It's damn real to you. But is it really real? Or is it an energy that you as a God are bringing, are creating, or manifesting? Is that what it is? Yeah, if you're not recognizing who you are, then you're going to keep manifesting it. This is why I say we got to get our mind right. All right. So if y'all have anything that goes against this, please hit me in the inbox. Hit up UNA in the inbox, UNA America, and I'd be glad to have this conversation with you. We can have it in public or private, however you want to, but please come with resources. Come with some real information. Don't come with your feelings and your beliefs and I believe and I think and I know. No. What do you know? What have you researched? Because as I said, when we get into this thing, and if I can take this principle and apply it to several different disciplines, when I can do that, then I know. When I can do that, then I know that what we're talking about is a fact. Is a fact, all right? So we're talking about universal laws, very much real, very much fact. Once again, I encourage y'all to do your studies. Do your studying. Learn things, know things, talk to other people. Go find out about history. And be willing to own up to your ish. That's what we are. People don't want to own up to who they are and the dirt that they've done. When we start doing that, then that's when we're going to come out of this mess, this so-called curse. Okay, own your ish, diva. I'm out. Peace. Bye-bye.